Okay, I can see that the screen is coming, right, Mataji?
Yes, Prabhuji, we can see.
So what I'm going to do, first few minutes, talk about how to give Bhagavatam class. So many of you are giving Bhagavatam class, and sometimes when you are in the class, there will be some senior devotee, Prabhupada disciples, and other guests. So ISKCON has a standard format, and we should try to follow that format. That's the format Prabhupada used also when he gave class, or when our senior devotees, especially Prabhupada disciples, would give class, they would expect that everybody is following that. So first we do Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. If you can do 3 times, we do that. After doing, we read the purport, verse, and verse we read 3 times. So the person who is uh, reading the verse, they should try to read 3 times. So this is one way to do. The another way that you would see devotee normally do, especially some of the sastric devotee, they would start Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Naranam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devi Saraswati Vyasam Tato Jayam Mudriyat Nastprayasva Bhadresu Nityam Bhagavad Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Sloke Bhakti Bhakti Nastaki. And then if you want to do some any prayer, like normally I do, Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesa Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapt Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishabhanusuti Devi Purnamami Haripriye. So you can call out the name of Krishna's any prayer that is going up to Krishna. Tapt Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishabhanusuti Devi Purnamami Haripriye. You can do some standard Bhagavatam prayers, or you can even do other prayers depending on what are the prayers that you like. Many devotees say Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nandagopa Kumaraya Govindaya Namo Namah. Namo Pankaj Nabhaya, Namo Pankaj Malina, Namo Pankaj Netraya, Namaste Pankaj Angare. Many devotees they would say Atmaram verse. So it's up to you, you know. Lal Gabar Prabhu when he gave class, you will see that after this he will recite series of verses. Sometimes you recite verses that is related to the context that you are going to talk about. So Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya 3 times, and then series of verses that is talking about pastime of Krishna's or his pastime, or some specific verses that is spoken by exalted devotee. You can do that, and right after that you get into reciting the verse. And verse, make sure that you read 3 times. So any verse that we read, we ensure the speaker is reading that verse 3 times. And after you are done, then you go to synonyms and you can say word by word meaning. And after doing that, you read the translation. And after reading translation, make sure if there are some senior devotee in front of you, make sure that you read purport, Prabhupada's purport. It's very, very important. I'm seeing devotees, they just read the verse and translation and not read Srila Prabhupada's purport completely. Or maybe they'll read one paragraph, one and a half paragraph, and they start talking. No, we don't do that. There was once a senior devotee in our temple. It's been like few years. He came from Orlando, and then the person who was giving class, he read one of the verse from Bhagavad Gita, and right after reading the verse, he opened the presentation and started giving the class. Prabhu said that, can you please go ahead and first read the purport before you give the class, he said. So the devotee who was giving class has to go back and read the entire purport, and then he gave the class. So We read the purport, and then after reading the purport, you seek the blessing of your Guru Maharaj. So we do Guru Pranam. So Magyana Timendasya Jnana Jana Salakaya चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः मुखं करोति वाचालां पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातदां वन्दे श्रीगुरुं सुगुरुं दिनतारणं नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रस्थाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामीति नाम्ने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी प्रसाद सतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवसति गौर भक्तवृंदा हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Then after that, you will start talking. Anything that you talk about that particular verse, that's how you do. So this is the typical standard for giving the Bhagavatam class. First, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya 3 times. Then the prayers that you like to do, which is related to Krishna's pastime, or spoken by some of his devotee, all those verses are contextual to the topic that you are going to talk. Then after that, you recite the verse 3 times, go through the synonym, translation, purport, and then you seek the blessing of Guru and disciplic succession. After that, you start talking anything because we need the guidance. And when we talk, we try to adhere with the theme of discussion. So Prabhupada when writes a purport, he will have theme. The Prabhupada will start somewhere depending on the verse, and slowly we conclude that. So that's how we do. We try to bring our narration, our understanding, but we follow the theme. We quote Bhakti, Vishwanath Thakur, or we quote Baldevi Devbhushan or other acharya, but we don't go offline. If you're giving class to senior devotee, like if you become very senior and you go somewhere else, they invite you to give the class. That's how you do. Otherwise, many devotee would not be interested. They would not like to hear, because we cannot concoct, we cannot bring things from somewhere places unless and until Prabhupada has talked about that in particular purport. So that's the standard format. If you want people to be attracted by your class, it's not our uh, you know uh, scholar explanation of the verse. Rather, we adhere. It says that the truthfulness of the word or chastity of the word is when we are adhere with the teaching and direction that is given by our Guru, Shastra, and Sadhu. That's the chastity. And that's what we are doing here. Most of the Bhagavatam discussion, you will see that when Parikshit Maharaj is asking question to Sukdev Goswami, Sukdev Goswami doesn't start saying that I know everything and let me, uh, tell you. You would always see in the Bhagavatam that they are citing higher authority. Sudha Goswami is talking the sages of Naimisaranya, and in his discussion, in his conversation, he will cite what is happening between Parikshit Maharaj and Sukdev Goswami. And when Sukdev Goswami is talking to Parikshit Maharaj, he will cite, what is discussion going on between Vyas Dev and Narad Muni, or what is discussion going on between Lord Brahma and Lord Vishnu, Lord Krishna himself, or what is the discussion between Vidura and Maitreya. You would always see that. That is, you know, understanding we have. You know, things are out of context. Sometimes you can tell the story, but the story also has to be contextual. You bring it back and you connect with what Prabhupada is saying. So if you give class like that, you can go anywhere, give class to any devotee, any senior devotee, anywhere in the ISKCON temple, and they will happily hear. So is it clear what I'm saying? I wanted to hear.
Yes,
Did it,
Prabhuji.
did
Yeah.
it make sense?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhu.
Santa Mata, Santa Mata, did it make sense what I'm saying?
Prabhu, could you please repeat, Prabhu? Just now I joined, if you don't mind.
I just said, I just told how to give Bhagavatam class, because many of you are giving Bhagavatam class. So there is a standard pattern that ISKCON temple is following all across the globe. And this is not something that concocted. It's basically aligned with the Guru Shastra and Sadhu, the disciplic succession that we have, Brahmada Gaurya Sampradaya. We or our acharyas, we give more reference to our acharya than we ourselves being to a scholar. So I said that when we give the Bhagavatam class, especially if you have very senior devotee, like for example, we have right now Bhima Prabhu in our temple and Mata Jalatala Mataji is in the temple. So when you are giving Bhagavatam class, they might come and sit down and they will hear. But when you are following the standard protocol, they would listen very nicely from beginning to end. But if they will say that you are deviating, they might, interfere or tell you, Prabhu, can you do like that? Can you do like that? Sometimes I would say that I would interfere. Can you please read the purport? Why? Because this is how Prabhupada gave class. And this is how his spiritual master Bhakti Swami Maharaj gave class, and that is how you can see in the Bhagavatam, Parikshit Maharaj is talking to Sukdev Goswami. Sukdev Goswami is giving the reference, which is what was the discussion between Lord Brahma and Lord Vishnu. What was the discussion between Lord, Narad Dev and Vyas Dev, or Vidura and Maitreya Muni. So that's not something that is new. That's the way our Bhagavatam is described, and that's how we also show authenticity and truthfulness, chastity to our teaching. You would see that sometimes people might feel, Ramacharya Prabhu, you are trying to adhere with the theme. You don't go beyond the theme. We don't have to make class interesting and go out of the theme. Don't do that. Can I do that? Yes, I know a lot of things. I can do a lot of things. I can make class so interesting, but we don't pay attention. Yes, we have to engage people, but that's your, advancement. That's your work that you have to do to how we can engage people, in the same theme, how we can, make it more releasing. Like for example, Chaitanya Charan Prabhu, when he comes class, when he gives class, you would see his format is very different, but he never deviates from the purport or from the teaching that Prabhupada has given. He will build on that. He will take one word and he will explain that. That you can do, but the discussion has to be aligned with the theme that that is given by Srila Prabhupada or Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. So this is kind of summary, but the format I said is that first and foremost, we chant three times Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Then Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devi Saraswati Vyasam Tato Jaya Mudire. The Bhagavatam prayers that we have three prayers. We do that. After that, you can have some Krishna's prayer. And then after doing that, you read the verse. You read the verse three times. Make sure that you read three times, and a scale of the verse should be a standard scale that most of the temple are using. I don't know how much time you have spent studying other sampradaya, but that's I have done it. I know a lot of places and resources that is presented by other sampradaya. Like for example, if you go and hear from uh, Shankaracharya Sampradaya, they also read Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita, but their chanting of verse meter is very different. Their explanation would be very different. So if you start citing the verses and you start using Shankaracharya's quotation, some of the way of citation, the way they read the verse, some of the scholar devotee who have studied Shastra, they'll right away figure it out. I can figure, I mean, I'm not a scholar, but I can figure out why, from where this thing is coming, why you are doing like that. I can understand that very quickly. When you say something, I can understand from where it's coming because I study very systematically, even not for this course, but this is part of my life. Okay. So if you are among the devotees who are really very good in understanding Shastra, they'll figure it out and they would not be interested in hearing. There is a story behind that also. So it's not like that we are being narrow minded, but we are trying to be truthful with our acharyas. because we cannot be better than Prabhupada. We cannot be better than Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, Baldev Vidyabhushan. They were like supremely a scholar devotee. Our scholar is very fictitious, little bit here and there. So we read the verse 3 times, then the translation, and make sure, I'm telling that to you, Nadia Kishore Prabhu, others have heard. Make sure that you read purport. For sure, you read purport. And then once purport is done, then you seek the blessing of your spiritual master. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnana Jana Salakaya, the prayers that we do, Prabhupada's prayer, and then all the way up to Panchatattva prayers, Hare Krishna Mahamantra. And then after that, you will start talking. And when you talk, you adhere with the theme that is presented by Prabhupada. That's what I do with my Bhakti Sastri course. That's what I do with Bhakti Vaibhava. And that's how I do when I'm giving classes. In the temple also, I would not randomly try to, build things, but adhere with the purpose that Prabhupada has given, and then try to, build on that. If Prabhupada has used the word Sarme Vahi Kevalam, and that day, if you decide that, okay, I would like to just talk on Sarm Vahi Kevalam, you can do that. You can do that. You can take the, one of the word and talk about that. But don't completely uh, come up with something that is not contextual, that is not the line of discussion, just something from random. Like if the verse is not talking about, or the purport is not talking about engaging in devotional service, right? Or physical service. So you can, if you want to, if you have a connection, and if you can build some of the story that Prabhupada has, reflected in his pastime, you can cite that, but don't go off the base. And that's how, your class would be authentic. You might feel like that there are not many people who are excited to hear your class, but don't worry. You know, in one of the class, Prabhupada said that when we are talking on different level. Okay, so sometimes our talk would be just for entertainment. So you as a speaker trying to entertain somebody else. So that would be just a class of entertainment. It's not going to make any difference. It's just a class of entertainment. Sometimes you could be very a scholar and and talk on the mind platform. Okay, then that's going to be the class. You are attracting to those people who are of a scholar type of people, and you are talking on the basis of mind. Okay, sometimes one may give the class on the basis of intelligence. So Prabhupada's suggestion was that class should be expression of one's devotion. That's another very important thing. So if you see Prabhupada class when he was in America, he was reciting verses after every 2 or 3 sentences, and all he will do is that express his devotion. Okay, the word could be anything, but you are expressing your devotion, and that is called heart to heart connection. You might feel like that, oh, people did not get excited after hearing my class, but if you have expressed your devotion, you have touched their heart, and you have transplanted the seed of devotion in their heart. It might not be visible, but your devotion is contagious. It has entered into the heart of other people, and it has awakened seed of devotion. So in the bhakti, when we give the class, we mostly on the devotional side. Try to whatever word you are saying, whatever statement you are making, bring your devotion, whatever devotion you have for Krishna, and share that devotion through that word. And that devotion will be very, very contagious. That's the reason when Prabhupada was on this planet, he's a pure devotee. How he could do that much? Because of his devotion. He was sincere, serious sadhaka of Krishna. So when he will say something, it will have completely different impact. Doesn't matter he's saying English or he's saying Sanskrit. He's saying broken word or he's saying, complete word. Doesn't matter. The word that he was using was just the vaya, exactly, or indeed he was expressing his devotion. So if you express your devotion, then people would be like that. And then some of the people who will come out of your teaching, they will be also class one devotee. They would be, very powerful devotee. Okay. So Prabhupada said that I'm writing Srimad Bhagavatam not to have, so many devotees. He said that I want only one pure devotee. Read in the introduction of Srimad Bhagavatam. So we don't, deviate. If, the empowerment has to come from Krishna. Okay. If Krishna will empower you, your word will become so powerful that one day, when you say something, whoever will hear will become your devotee. So prepare. You know, that's what I would like to request. We don't rush over. Just very softly, kindly prepare yourself. Make yourself a nice, serious devotee, and then whatever you would say, it would have impact to the people. It makes sense what I'm saying.
Yes, Prabhu. Thank you for sharing, Prabhu. It's really helpful.
So this is not something that I'm concocting. Also, okay, I can give you many references. So one of the references that you could see when we study Srimad Bhagavatam. Right now, the chapter uh, that we are going through answer by citing Lord's version. See, that's the title of this chapter. Answers are given by citing Lord's commentary, Lord's version. It says, okay. So Parikshit Maharaj is asking Sukdev Goswami that your discussion has been so nice. I really like to hear more. Can you please help me understand? And then in the previous chapter, he's asking list of questions. List of questions he's asking. And then Sukdev Goswami is citing the conversation that happened between Lord Brahma and Vishnu. So this chapter, he is going to answer question that Parikshit Maharaj is asking, but he is not saying that this is your answer. He's saying that, okay, I can tell you that similar discussion happened between Lord Brahma and Lord Vishnu. And this is how they were talking. So this is definitely not easy unless and until you are not very thorough in studying Shastra. You cannot do that. You would not be able to do that because how you would know that this similar discussion has happened somewhere else? So that's what I was saying, preparation, prepare, never give class without having sufficient preparation. Prepare yourself, make sure that what you are talking, what you are going to conclude, everything, should be well defined. And then you just go and pray and start talking. So here is a beautiful example where Shukdev Goswami himself is citing a conversation that took place between Lord Brahma and Lord Vishnu. So in the previous chapter, okay, but before I do that, is it making sense so far? What I'm saying? Or
Yes,
there is some,
Prabhuji.
or there is some challenge and some questions. Maybe not fully aligned with what I said. That's another Prabhu, does it make sense what I'm saying, or you like
No, I
to?
think it's good. Yeah, thank you.
I just wanted to share with you, because you all are slowly going to be the future of this society, and we have to retain what our acharyas have given to us. It's very important. So in this chapter,
Now, Prabhu, small questions.
yeah,
Yeah,
please ask.
yeah. One, Prabhupada purpose, whatever we have in Veda basic, and other references, Prabhu. So there are different books where we can read or where those are available in online or something, Prabhu. Like you mentioned Baldev Krishna and other commentaries, right, Prabhu? Different commentaries.
Yeah,
Where are those available, Prabhu?
yeah. So what was your question, Mataji?
No, no. So, just I'm saying, I'm asking normally one Veda base, right, Prabhu, where we got the commentary from Prabhupada. So
Yeah.
suppose to get the purports or talkings from others like Vishnu Thakur and Baldev Jabushan. So where we'll get them? Is it different books, online books we
Yeah,
got?
so that there are books, there are books, and so for example, you have to. It depends on your curiosity. Okay,
Mm.
depends on how much you want to understand and study the books. So when I go Brindavan, the thing that I do is that I will bring a lot of books, you know. So if you keep on studying, then you'll have questions, okay? You'll have, you'll get to higher and higher and higher understanding. And then that understanding will take you to search and find out where is this material, which book should I read. Like see some of the Maharaj, many times when you give class, we are quoting this Prabhu says like that, that Prabhu said like that, from where they are coming. So what happens is that I can tell you, first we try to understand Prabhupada's purport. So Prabhupada purport is very deep. Prabhupada has made some statement, and that those statement you can take as it is. But then the second level of understanding is that you try to understand from where this statement Prabhupada has made. Then you'll find out that it's coming from Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur commentary. So how can I get the commentary by Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur? Well, there are books. Devotees have done a lot of work. There are commentary, that translated in English, and that those are available. Okay, I have all of those. Plus, I have a PDF copy of Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur commentary that I sent to a few devotees, whoever is interested. So, and those are translated by our devotee, okay, ISKCON devotee. So you can, read those, and you will find out that there are some statement that Prabhupada is making through Upanishads. Okay, so then there are many Upanishads. So you will have to go and study those. Many places. Prabhupada, when he makes statement, writes purport, those purports are coming from different places, and most of the time you'll find out that very authentic conversation that happening between two exalted personality. So that's how you research. That's why I said that the preparation is like that. And after you go after those references, then in those references you'll find some other references, okay, and then you go to that higher level. That's how we do. That's how we do. But Brahmada Gaurya Sampradaya is not a very shallow Sampradaya. One thing I can tell you, okay? Our limitation, or we are so tied up, we just want to be a scholar, we just want to say something, and we start pulling things from here and there, not from the right reference. That is our, weakness. Because if you ask me, I have tons of books, so many types of books that normally you would not see. And then my wife went to India this time. I said that Karunanidhi A, B, C, D, E, can you bring those 4 books? When I go myself, I buy a lot of books. So Brahmada Gaurya Sampradaya is very wide. It's not only Prabhupada, but his Guru Maharaj, Bhaktisiddhanta Swami Maharaj, his writing is also there. Like Bhaktisiddhanta Vaibhava is there. So you have to study those. His spiritual masters, all the Acharya, Narottam Das Thakur, Bhakti Vinod Thakur, write up, Baldevi Devushan write up. If you see, you see, how many books they have written. So if you read those books, then you will find out that Prabhupada is in fact, in his purport, is talking what other acharyas have spoken. One of the example I can give you, that Prabhupada did not give the purport of 10th, 10th canto from chapter 14, 11th canto and 12th canto. Those cantos, the purports are not written by Prabhupada. But before Prabhupada departed, he wrote the purport of Chaitanya Charitamrita. Entire Chaitanya Charitamrita's purport is personally written by Prabhupada. So when devotees, when they wrote the purport for Canto 10, 11, and 12, you know what they did? They, based upon the subject of discussion, they went back and found out in Chaitanya Charitamrita what Prabhupada has spoken on that particular theme. So they have exactly line by line, if you have studied, carefully, line by line, those devotees are citing Prabhupada's purport that is in Chaitanya Charitamrita. Or exactly from chapter 14, the purport that you read is mostly Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur commentary. This is what I found out. When I read, because I have Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur commentary, so I'll read the purport of one of the verse in 11th Canto. Then I'll read Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur commentary. I said, oh my gosh, this is just a copy. And then the same thing, if we look into Chaitanya Charitamrita, and they would say, sometimes they would say, Srila Prabhupada has mentioned in Chaitanya Charitamrita. And then all they would do is that they would just repeat. And Prabhupada has, written citing his Guru Maharaj or Narottam Das Thakur, or many times Prabhupada has also, and also Bhagavad Gita, by the way, Bhagavad Gita purport that Prabhupada has written is 90% aligned with Baldev Vidyabhushan commentary that is called Gita Bhushan. So you would not know that, okay? So, we'll say, why Ramacharya Das is saying that I should adhere with Prabhupada's commentary? Because Prabhupada himself has followed his Acharya. Okay, so Bhagavad Gita commentary is very much aligned with Baldev Vidyabhushan commentary that he presented in Bhagavad Gita. And then some of the commentary that Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur has given for Bhagavad Gita. So Prabhupada basically took Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur commentary, Baldev Vidyabhushan commentary, and other Acharya's commentary, and then wrote the Bhagavad Gita commentary, which is more applicable for the current audience. So that's how we do. If you want to be a really very scholar devotee, then you have to study a lot. And you have to know what is Vidyabhushan commentary and Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur commentary and other Acharya's commentary, and then you talk from there. But you have to study a lot. But we don't go outside. Okay, Shankaracharya is saying like that, and this is saying like that. Then you went outside. You didn't really explore all the resources that is there. So that's how we be very authentic preacher. Making sense, Mataji? So we normally don't, we try to read Prabhupada's purport, and then if there is connection that's coming, that's taking somewhere else, you go somewhere else. But during classes, if there is purport given for that particular verse, you can just read that purport. Don't read any other purport. Don't read Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur purport or Baldev Vidyabhushan purport. The purport that Prabhupada has given, that's what we read. But once you start giving class, then you start pulling out those references. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says like that. I see that Ashok Prabhu, Atulanand Prabhu does that. I don't know how he does that, but in his class, I have seen he does that. And Venu Madhurya Das, I'm telling you, that's the reason that I have given him this service. You will ask me why. Because when he talks before even giving him this service, I found out that listen him. He will very strongly adhere with the teaching that that our Acharya has given. He would exactly adhere. He will repeat what Prabhupada has said, and he would pull the citation from Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, from Baldev Vidyabhushan. So dear devotees, I am not unnecessarily going off the track, but since you all are going to be future of the society, I'm just giving you some idea that how you should do. If you want to be something very unique, you have to pull more energy. Don't take, Prabhupada said, Krishna consciousness, don't take it cheap. If you take it heavily, it will give you more result to you. It will, purify you more. So that's what, I would like to request. I'm recorded. Sorry, I should not have recorded this class, but I just want to tell you that I hear devotee class very carefully, and I see how much somebody has studied, how much somebody has prepared for this class. I would see that. I don't talk much. I don't interfere in the class, but this is a course, I can definitely help you all, but I understand. Not because it's my prideness, but I give time. Whenever I'm flying, whenever I'm going somewhere, I'll have, something and I will particularly read it. So read more, prepare yourself. Prabhupada did not become Jagat Guru right? Like this, whole life he prepared. If you read it, that's why when we read Prabhupada Lilamrita, you see, how much struggle he did, okay? But at some point, all of those struggles and purity that he did, it made him exalted, pure, powerful devotee. And then at 70 years of age, a person coming from Bengal, with Bengali accent, talking to American, all of them became devotee. So that's how we have to see. I don't know if it's making sense to you or not. So prepare yourself. Don't try to jump. Just, it's okay. It's okay, Krishna. But stay in connection with Krishna and Acharya. That will save us. If I leave my body today, I live chanting name of Krishna. Krishna will save me. I'm not a very famous devotee all over the globe. But one thing that I have tried whole life is that touch the feet of my dear Lord. I'm always at his feet. I'm not going away. I'm always at the feet of Prabhupada and Acharya. That's all. That's all you do. You leave this body, they will take care of you. Krishna Bhakti Kaile Sarvakara Siddhi Haya. So there is a different way how devotee practice versus outsider will practice. So you have to be a good example by yourself, which is adhering with the core foundational teaching. Don't worry for anything else. Brahmanda Varmitya Kona Bhagavan Jew, Guru Krishna Prasade Paya Bhakti Lata Bij. No, you cannot make anybody devotee. No. Devotion is Krishna's property. Krishna decide who will be devotee. And the person who has become devotee, they all have done a lot of devotional service in past. Okay. So credit goes to the soul. I don't know if I'm making sense or not. Am I making sense?
Yes, Prabhu. Thank you.
So I would
Yes.
just like to, because you all are part of this, course and advanced devotee, serious devotee. So I just wanted to share this. I personally sometimes, depending on how a scholar, the speaker is prepared, I engage in that level, because also hearing is very important. You want to hear pure sound. You want to hear something that will also improve your Krishna consciousness, right? So that's what Prabhupada disciples does. I have seen that. Many of those I have seen Prabhu. Some of the very serious Prabhupada disciple I have seen. They're very simple, very humble. You would not even know, but they practice pure Krishna consciousness. So let us, try to practice pure Krishna consciousness. We don't have much time, my dear devotee. You might think that I'm only this year old, that year old. Take all of that aside. Anything can happen any moment. So we should be every minute ready that if I have to leave this body, that's the question I ask. My dear Lord, if I have to leave this body, will you accept me? What do I need to do so that you can accept me? Okay, that's how we have to prepare. Every day, any minute, we are ready to go back to Krishna. My dear Lord, whatever I can do, I'm trying sincerely, honestly. I don't have that much intelligence. My words are broken, but please, I'm engaged in your service. Kindly take care of me. Kindly take care of, devotees. That's the heartfelt prayer, and that's the prayer will save us and save the mankind. Devotees' prayer will save the mankind. You praying for the other living entity will save the mankind, but it will take time. Okay, it will take time to understand also who is pure devotee, who is not pure devotee. If you yourself are very seriously engaged in bhakti, Krishna will help you. He will help you understand, see the things around you. Sarguna Samahite. So those are the things I wanted to talk, because those are very important to discuss as we are trying to finish this Bhakti Vaibhava course. So in this particular chapter, I'm going to talk about this chapter. This is a beautiful chapter where you would see that Sukdev Goswami is citing the discussion that happened between Lord Brahma and Krishna himself, Vishnu himself. So in previous chapter, Parikshit Maharaj is asking, I'm very bewildered, he said. And it doesn't really make sense to me. In verse number 7, he's saying, how did the living entity, who is spiritual by nature, we are the soul, attain this body which is material? And what is the compatibility? And then he says this attachment is so strong that it feels like that there is no soul. We are this body, and our goal is to enjoy senses. So how this, you know, uh, compatibility is developed, right? This is one of the point that you can talk to, Sunday Fish crowd, and you can build, on this one. But theme is that the discussion is this. This is very bona fide question asked by Prakshit Maharaj. So Sudhir Goswami says that I understand, but this is happening due to Maya, because living entity has desire. So to fulfill that desire, Krishna through Maya manifests this concept of I and me, aham mameti. So Vaibhava says that this is Maya, and that is why living entity is thinking that I am this body. You get this perfect answer right here. And this is coming from Acharyas. Then further he says that second question he asks that I also see that Lord, whenever he comes to this material world, he has a form. He comes as Lord Rama, he comes as Lord Krishna. So what is the difference between the body that living entity has and body that Krishna has? Because his body is also like appears that it's ordinary body. Then answer is given here that no, Lord's body is eternal and transcendental. It's Satchidananda Vigraha. Okay, and Satchit Anand Vigraha is the original identity of all the living entity. So now all of us are Satchidanand, which means we are eternal, soul is eternal. So Sat feature is eternity, and Chit feature is full of knowledge. We all have we all have all knowledge, and we are very blissful. So devotional service is bhakti is basically to regain our Satchit Anand feature, dear devotees. Okay, that's what it is. And in Nectar of Devotion, it is very nicely mentioned that there are three internal potency of Supreme Personality of Godhead: Shamvit Shakti, Shandani Shakti, and Hladani Shakti. Right? So Shamvit is Chit potency, Shandani is Sat potency, and Hladani is Anand potency. We have talked about, if you remember, when we went through Bhakti Sastri and we talked about advancement in Krishna consciousness, we talked about this Shandani, Shamvit, and Hladani Shakti. Shandani is Shat, eternal potency. Shamvit is Gyan potency, Yog Maya, right? And Hladani is Anand potency. So what is devotional service? Devotional service is basically going from external understanding, external existence to internal potency. So becoming part of the internal potency of Supreme Personality of Godhead. Right now, in the conditioned state, we are part of the external potency of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Right? We are in the material world, and soul is encapsulated inside this body. So we think we are this body, but devotional service, why we are doing devotional service, why we are engaged in devotional service, because this is slowly and slowly cutting our material identity. Material, with devotional service, we understand that this material relationship and existence and all the network that we have, this is false, right? That's what bhakti is. The advancement in Krishna consciousness means this, that the things that is appearing to me real is really a network of Maya. I am a spirit soul, and my original identity is Satchit Ananda. So that's what is basically happening. So when Lord comes to this material world, he does not have a material body. He comes in his spiritual form. That is Ishwara Parama Krishna, Suchidananda Vigraha, Anadiradir Govinda Sarvakaran Karnam. His Vigraha is Sachidananda, and he's always Sachidananda Vigraha, means eternal, full of knowledge. And that knowledge part sometimes is spoken in Shastra as Paramatma. No, that's another understanding. And then full blissful. Lord is always blissful. So that part is little bit, given here. Hint of that is given here, that the body of the Lord is not material body. Because that's what Prakrit Maharaj is asking. The body of the Lord is transcendental body, and Lord always, even he comes into this material world, but he is always dealing with his internal potency. So I'll come back to this internal potency after going through this whole slide. And then citation is now referred. And then the story of Lord Brahma's appearing to this world is given. That Lord Brahma, he came, he came from the navel of Lord Vishnu. When he came, he did not see anything. All around was darkness. He didn't know what is his duty. And but when he uh, looked around, he found out that there is a lotus stem. Then he started chasing that stem, and as he started chasing, keep on chasing, but he didn't find anything. Lord Brahma didn't find anything. So there is sound coming. It says tapa, tapa, tapa. And you do austerity, you do austerity, you do austerity. So Prabhupada uh, gave very nice class on this word. He says, and I would like to just repeat, he said that if Lord Brahma had to do tapasya to see Krishna, who we are, for sure we have to do tapasya. So that's why, my dear devotee, we have to do some tapasya. We have to try, as much as we can, be very austere. So he did tapasya for 1,000 celestial years. And after that tapasya, Lord Krishna, Vishnu, appeared in front of him. And then uh, Lord Brahma was curious. Who am I? Why did I take this form? What do you want me to do? All of that, right? My dear Lord, what is purpose of my existence? What do you like me to do? Then Lord gave him these 4 seed verses. Chatu Sloki verse that we normally talk about. So those 4 verses are actual original verses of Bhagavatam. That was, so Krishna gave only 4 verses to Lord Brahma. And then Lord Brahma took that teaching and taught to Narad Muni. Those 4 verses he explained to Narad Muni. And those 4 verses has these 3 things. What are those 3 things? Do you remember from last discussion, devotees?
Yes, Prabhuji. Sambandha,
What?
Prayojana, and Abhideya.
Yes. So those 4 verses has these 3 things: Sambandha, Avideya, and Prayojana. So Narad Muni took Sambandha and then gave the full discussion. Sambandha. What is Sambandha? How living entities are related to Krishna, and then Abhidheya, and then Prayojana. So Narad Muni, Lord Brahma taught it to Narad, and Narad Muni expanded even more and gave it to Vyasdev. And then Vyasdev expanded this whole thing, and those 4 verses, to understand those 4 verses, Vyasdev wrote 18,000 verses. The Bhagavatam has 18,000 verses. He spoke 18,000 Sanskrit verse to explain those 4 seed verses. And then Prabhupada took those verses separately and gave purport. So in this particular discussion, there is emphasis of disciplic success. How this knowledge is coming from Krishna. So original source of all of that we are studying is Lord Himself, Krishna Himself. But then Lord Brahma, Narad, and Vyasdev expanded it. Manda Sumanda Matayo Manda Bhago Padratau. We read, in the very beginning of Bhagavad Gita, that to make this teaching easy and palatable for the living entity of Kali Yuga, Vyasdev expanded it. Okay, so this is the background we have so far, and that background tells us that how our previous great acharyas and personalities have acted. The core teaching is teaching that coming from Krishna. So we are talking about the very first 2 verses are talking about why living entities have this material body and why it feels so compatible. Mataji, can you read this translation for verse number 1, 2, 3? Then
Yes,
I'll just expand a little bit.
yes, Prabhuji. Sri Sukadev Goswami said, O king, unless one is influenced by the energy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, there is no meaning to the relationship of the pure soul in pure consciousness with the material body. That relationship is just like a dreamer seeing his own body working. The illusion living entity appears in so many forms offered by the external energy of the Lord. While enjoying in the mode of material nature, the engaged living entity misconceives thinking in terms of I and mine. As soon as the living entity becomes situated in his constitutional glory and begins to enjoy the transcendence beyond time and material energy, he at once gives up the two misconception of life, I and mine, and thus becomes fully manifested as the pure self. O king, the personality of Godhead being very much pleased with the Lord Brahma because of his non-deceptive penance in Bhakti Yoga, presented his eternal and transcendental form before Brahma, and that is the objective goal for purifying the conditioned soul.
Oh, so these words I just wanted to quickly summarize. Okay, these 4 purport. I just want to let me see if I can. Yeah. So these 4 verses I can summarize. And what I would like to share with you is in nectar of devotion. Should I change the slide? What is time right now? Okay, it's almost done. Okay, so I'll just discuss this maybe next class. I'll show you. I'll just tell you. So in nectar of devotion, Rupa Goswami is talking about stages of bhakti, and he talks about how living entity are going from sadhu sangha, first sardha, to sadhu sangha, to bhajan kriya, to anartha nivritti. Like that, he's going all the way up to prema. So as living entities are advancing in Krishna consciousness, they are getting exposed more to internal potency of the Supreme Lord. And he says that by a stage of Bhava Bhakti, up to Bhava Bhakti, I don't know how the Bhava Bhakti looks like, but he's saying up to Bhava Bhakti, living entities are exposed to Sat and part of the Chit feature. Wow. Means living entities have identified that they are eternal and they have knowledge. Knowledge that I am not this body, I am the soul, and not the knowledge, but they have fully realized it. And then they are acting as per that understanding. And then when prema appears, then the soul or living entity is fully awakened and they are fully aware with Lord's internal potency, which is Satchit Anand, completely aware. I don't know how does it look like, but that is how it's presented. So it's not like that through bhakti, we know the result after leaving this body. It's not like that. That's another thing that we have to understand. It's not like that the result of bhakti will appear when I leave this body and Krishna will suddenly say that now you are done, come to me. No. Rupa Goswami says that as we are advancing in the bhakti, although we are living in the material world, but we are not living in the material world. The soul regains its original identity, which is Satchit Anand, by engaging in the process of bhakti. And when it leaves the body, it's just a transformation. It's just leaving this material world and going to a spiritual world. That's all. It's just a but but the soul has full consciousness before leaving this body. And that is why when we see the pastime of great acharyas, Ramanujacharya, Madhvacharya, they were already Nityasiddha. It's not like that they got impacted. Some of their pastime, some of their, dealing with the situation were so exalted that they never appear that they have to do anything with this material world, right? These are the example you can see. Prabhupada also, he walked on this planet. He built 108 temple, so many devotees. He did not connect with anything. It's all Krishna's, right? Last minute, you will see that he's reciting the prayers of Bhagavatam, asking, giving the commentary, and left the body. So these are some of the examples, that critically we can see that bhakti transform ones up to such a high state that one really is not the part of this material world. And that's the theme of this discussion. Sudhir Goswami is saying that the illusion of I and mine, that living entities, is due to Maya. And when they engage in devotional service, that illusion is completely purified. And when they are purified, what is the meaning of purification? Sometimes we say purification does not mean body looks clean. No, purification means the heart becomes clean and we understand that we are Satchidananda Vigraha. We are part and parcel of Supreme Personality of Godhead. Okay. So with that, I think we'll just conclude here. Next class, we'll quickly go through some of these. I'll try to 75% get done next class, but this is very important chapter. So we'll understand the theme before we conclude it. Okay. So I'll just pause here. Anybody has anything that they would like to share before we adjourn today? I'm still thinking how what's the time I should do this class? How should I take care of this class in future? I like, having this class on Sunday morning. I really love it because it gives me some opportunity to talk about Bhagavatam. At the same time, I'm thinking if I can do this from temple or maybe do it a little differently. I'm still thinking on it. A lot of stuff going on, pretty busy, but I'll definitely make some adjustment on this one. And
Prabhu,
I'll keep it.
don't stretch too much on your head like that.
Ah,
Going to temple in the morning, so early morning. Don't stretch too much, because we are doing so many things on this. So
yeah,
this is
that's what.
okay.
Thank you,
We can
Prabhu.
continue. We can continue on the online. That should be fine.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Yes, that's why, Prabhu, I also think that.
Otherwise, we all come to your home. That may be better.
Ah, you're so great.
Hmm.
Yes, Prabhuji, this is very nice advice. I would definitely hear that advice. Yeah, Saturday morning going for uh, class, sorry, for Harinam. And sometimes if I don't have devotee, I play Mridanga. And 1.5 hour, 2 hours playing Mridanga, I really come, by 9 o'clock
Hmm.
and I'm pretty tired. I'll just have some light prasadam and I go to bed and in 5 minutes I'm done. Then I have to get up in the morning. So you are 100% right, Prabhuji. I think you understand,
Hmm.
that if I try to do this from the temple, it will be very difficult for me on Sundays to do it. So
Yeah.
yes, that's very good advice. Thank you so much for thinking about me. Yeah, I
Hmm.
would definitely see if I can do it over the Zoom. The way it's happening, it's fine. Just few of you can keep on coming and learning. That's good. I don't have any problem. But as you said, keeping on Zoom sounds like making more sense to me.
Hmm.
Right, Mataji, Brinda Mataji,
Yes, Prabhuji.
Bimla Mataji, right?
Yeah, yes, Prabhuji. I will put in a poll also if devotees have certain times we can work on those time also, Prabhuji.
No, no,
Morning time
Mataji.
relatively is good,
Yeah,
Mataji,
morning is yeah. Yes.
this time discussion we already had it, and Ashok Prabhu has to go for class on
Oh,
Yeah.
Bal Vihar, and he doesn't have any other time.
oh, okay, Prabhu.
So
Then
this is
this
the
So
only
this is the
time.
class.
Yeah,
yeah,
this is the only time that we have.
yeah. Okay,
Maybe
Prabhuji.
7:15 instead of 7:15, 7:30 is okay,
Yeah,
but not.
7:30 if it's okay, maybe. Yeah, I think Mataji, the time I would like to keep in the morning also
Mm-hmm.
because it's very purifying, hearing
Yeah,
Bhagavatam.
in the morning,
And
yes.
yeah. And nobody is in the rush. In Radha Krishna Prabhu, another said that no Prabhu, we just want to release the Bhagavatam. So I'm not taking this more as a course.
Mm-hmm.
Rather, I'm taking this more as a subject for us to connect and just release the Bhagavatam.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Otherwise, I'll just give you a summary of this chapter and move on.
Yeah, yeah.
So, thank
So
you.
we,
Hare
yeah,
Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Vanchkalpatarivasya kripa
Kapa,
sindhuvaya vasya
Vacha,
patitanam
Patitan,
pavanavya
Pavane,
vaishnavaya